Hello, the mechanics of this program is to take those with unusual zest and decent IQs and to make them easy to manage, control or discipline, which is to take those with zest and make them docile. And that is done through trauma-based mind control, through frustrating any expressions of the joy to be alive, or the human spirit, I would call it, or any form of creativity or individual will, to subvert that and to repress it, and also to repress everything that the person does that they enjoy. Example, if you enjoy going to bars, they will put gang stalkers in there to make it unpleasant. If you enjoy playing your music, example, what they will do is they will put someone in the flat upstairs and to play the bass line. So there's always somebody from their camp with you, brainwashing you in some way. Behaviour modification. What they do to me is absolutely, it's just diabolical. It's targeted at everything that I love and enjoy. All the things that what a person would say makes up who they are. So what the end result of all this is, if you go several moves ahead to what, if this was continuing for a long time, and what it entails is breaking somebody's spirit. And every expression that is zestful or energetic or creative is hammered and hammered and hammered. And one of the things that they are doing is they are burning the back of my head, and it induces some kind of a horrible artificial calm, which is the opposite of anger, which is the opposite of intensity, which is the opposite of anything. It's not a pleasant feeling. It's like you've taken some horrible drug that sort of evens things out. And if you look at things through history, recent history, the wrongs that have been done under the name of psychiatric science, they have all been to do with mind control. And people like Upjohn, Jensen, Dow, and I think it was Dow that did some kind of implants for people, tracking implants. Then this big pharma are making a packet out of this. And who are big pharma? Who's got equity? Who's got shares in big pharma? It all works together. The money people are making more money. And not only that, but the end result of somebody, when they subject them to V2K, which we know in its many forms exists, I've spoken to people that have never heard a single voice. They've never had an auditory hallucination before they went in prison, or before they had some time in a mental facility. And I've actually spoken to one person, and he said that he's convinced the nurses were trying to hypnotise him, and they was playing this stuff day and night. But nobody will believe him, because of course he's mental. You know, this person has never been violent or anything, yet they sectioned him for 9 years. He's never hit anybody, he's never done anything. And I can see him now, and he sort of gazes off into space as if he's in some kind of a trance. And he's on a lot of heavy medication. But I do have some personal testimonies from people. And what has happened to them has ruined their lives. And it can be passed off as having some kind of a mental breakdown or something. And I really do, with this targeted individual program, I think this is, rather than putting people... And although they would like to do that with the targeted individuals, they would like to get them in a controlled environment, it is all about control. And it is all about removing that intensity of spirit. The people that they want to, and they've got the energy and they've got the self-belief to direct their own life. They've got strong will and self-determination, and they've got a reasonable IQ, and they possibly have other qualities to go with that to make achieving their dreams a possibility. Or I think it's not so much what the outcome would be. It's so much as the fact that the powers that be want to control everybody. And they've targeted these people because they are difficult to control. And they want to manage them, make them docile. I think they just want to know that this can be done in order to shape the society the way they want it. And this has been done for a very long time. Healthy people have been subjected to the things that targeted individuals are subjected to, and they've been prescribed horrible drugs, and they've been cooped up, unable to do anything in the world when they're let out afterwards, other than mong out, veg out, and they're often still subjected to these voices and things when they come out. And I can put some of their testimonies on my site, which I will do. But the purpose of this audio is to bring it to light that what is happening with targeted individuals and all the techniques and tactics that are being used on them have probably been used on many people, and it's a form of control. It was called psychiatric reprisal, and it was probably used on people here and there, but now I believe with this targeted individual thing, they're not happy with just one or two. They want to control the whole society and make them take away any willfulness or any drive or fire that person has. And that is what I've ascertained from the way they try and break you. By anything that makes you happy and that is good for you and gives you personal power and confidence, they try and break it and take it away. Because they want to control, obviously. I'm speaking from a targeted individual's point of view here. When I go back to the mental health system, the drawing that I've done, you can see what I've tried to illustrate is that people are pretty normal, and then once they get on this conveyor belt, they're given a label, and these labels are concepts, and they relate to how the brain fires and how the brain works, and these can be created, and they can be created through putting energy into the brain in an organised way, by choosing certain areas of the skull and introducing a lot of energy. Microwaves have been pointed out in this in some studies into certain areas of the brain, which causes over time, especially if audio input is put in with it as well. But what happens with this putting too much energy into the brain, it excites the electrical part of the brain they want to target, and it will result in a condition that is very similar to what epileptics call partial epilepsy, which is where part of the brain gets very excited electrically and neurons fire. Too much of the brain is called up in that area and it all fires. And these partials result in things like hearing distant music that's quiet, seeing bits of shadows or things that are not there, hearing their own thoughts in the head, hearing conversations with other people in the head, God knows, all types of things. Anything your brain can do consciously, it can be induced. If you can hear, if you can see, if you can think, those things can be induced electrically. And what I've tried to show in the picture is you have a normal person that's been subjected to this, these microwave attacks, V2K, the overload. Also, they're using possibly greatly amplified EEGs. I can't prove that, but there's some work done in a book called Controlling the Human Mind by Nick Bergic, I think he's called, and he states that has been experimented with. And it is a science. It does work. So you have these, in the drawing I've done, you have these normal people that are subjected to all these things, and then they are given labels. Again, these labels, paranoid, schizophrenic, what's the other one? Manic depressive, whatever. These are concepts, and they have been well defined and written, and oh yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, so they are concepts like everything else, and they have been induced, and they require treatment because they have been classified as mental illnesses, and an illness needs to be treated. So once on this conveyor belt, once given a tag, a label, which many times are incorrect. Some people have not got any of these things whatsoever. Sometimes they're in there for political reasons, or because they upset somebody, or they're behaving in a way that isn't one of these things, as well as being targeted. So once they have the label, they are prescribed medication, which they have to stay on for the rest of their life, apparently, because apparently these things are not able to be cured, which is a lie, and it totally contradicts research on how neural pathways are formed and how the brain is plastic. You see, what's happening is they're abusing the plasticity of the brain and the ability of the brain to form new pathways and to recruit more neurons to fire in a certain way, brain entrainment, and they're putting more energy into it in order to cause that. So they know they can do that, and they're saying these things can't be cured, which is nonsense, because once the brain starts to behave that way, unless it's been caused with an injury, and even in an injury, you got to remember the basic precept of the brain is it has this plasticity. It can be remolded. That's how people learn to do new things. That's how people, after they've had a stroke, they learn to get back some of their thinking, or they learn to get back some of their movement. Things can be relearned. Oh, but in this instance, going back to the picture, the person is labelled for life, and they have to take this heavy medication for life, which from personal testimonies, I've seen and heard that these medications have a very negative effect. They make the person, in many cases, gain weight. They make the person have dark circles under their eyes. They make the person lethargic. And also what they tend to do is they give this drug called procyclidine, which is supposed to halt some of the side effects of the really nasty injectables, that long-term antipsychotic injectables. And this procyclidine is well known for losing teeth in people. The young man I spoke of, who was for 9 years, he's got no teeth. He's only 30. And that was due to the procyclidine. There's other testimonies of people that the teeth are just crumbled with these nasty drugs. It's a well-known side effect. So you now have somebody who's overweight, who stares into space, who's lethargic, who can't do anything, who's lost most of their teeth. All those things make it harder for somebody to enjoy life and to get a relationship and to, I don't know, whatever they want to do. Say they want to go to college. Say that they're not going to be able to do anything like that. So basically this is a program that doesn't just make people docile, it disables them completely. And it does not take into account that the brain is plastic and can be remoulded. You have massive improvements by some very, very people that are geniuses. And you have people like Napoleon Hill as well. And you have all this positive thinking. And you have some of it spiritually orientated. And there's many miracles that have been experienced by people. People that have joined Alcohol Anonymous, things like that. You know, they said alcoholism was incurable until one person like the Roger Bannister effect broke through that. But apparently this does not apply to this system. No, these people are like this. They're like this for the rest of their lives. How much money are Jensen, Dow, Corning and the big pharma people, leading all back to the bankers who have a stake in these companies? How much money are they making out of one individual? You must remember that these individuals often don't live past their mid-50s. How long they would have lived normally without being subjected to heavy medication, I don't know. But generally, these people die before they're 60 due to the medication, which is always denied. And a lot of the injectables, such as the Modicate, which is very severe antipsychotic, is known to cause problems with the heart and to cause heart attacks. I've had testimonies from people, I've heard them, where young people have had heart attacks in the 50s, the 30s, and they've all been on this drug. But it doesn't matter, does it? Because they've made their money and they have managed to control people that probably don't really need controlling. So, how much money are Upjohn, Jensen, Dow, Corning, all the Wellcome, all the big pharma throughout somebody's life? And how many people are subjected to this? In the area that I live in, it's massive. There are so many people walking about in these states that have been induced by these dangerous antipsychotic drugs. And then you see them, and then you don't see them. They're gone, they're dead. Or something's happened to them, you know. They've been put in prison. And it's the whole business. It's not just the drugs. It's the whole business. You have the CPNs that constantly come round and see if the people that are on these drugs are okay. And then you've got the people that come round and take them out because obviously they've been traumatised. They've been subjected to horrendous things. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist normally in society and that people are affected by personal traumas such as bereavements and things, or I'm not saying that the brain doesn't malfunction on its own. But I'm talking about a program, because this program has been used on me. It's attempted to be used on me, and it's attempted to be used on target individuals. And I'm saying that the V2K, and it can be induced. I will put testimonies online of people, at least 3 people that I know, and the situations are all similar in that they never had any of this. 1, before they got in trouble with the police. 2, before they got in trouble with the council. And then suddenly all these things, gang stalking, the voices, all this stuff started happening to them. Very strange. And but I won't tell you here, it'll take too long. I'll put their testimonies online. So they're making a lot of money from these people, and it's a whole business, and it is one of control. I spoke to somebody and they said to me, well, we can't have idiots running about. And I said, what do you mean by idiots? And he said, people doing stupid things. And there was an interview on the radio where an officer, very high-ranking police officer in the UK, said that he was talking about prison versus the mental health system, and he was saying, and this was a dead giveaway to anybody with a bit of awareness, that he said often it's better that the person goes to prison because then they come out and that's done with. He said if they get under the mental health system, they're under that for life. And he said, what are you talking about? These some new rules that were coming in, and they weren't anything significant. And the interviewer on the radio, I think it was talk radio, he said to the officer, what sort of situations are you talking about? And he says the ones we couldn't really do a lot about were people that were doing such things as Zen meditation techniques in the middle of a housing estate. And he said something disparaging about that and these type of people. And so I presume those type of people are the people that are being put on not so much this program, but under the diagram that I've designed. Oh, he's sitting down cross-legged in the middle of a housing estate, So it's not really an illness, is it? It is actually behaviours where people are not conforming to normal behaviours. Like you go to school, you're taught to sit up straight in your desk, you wear your uniform, you come in at this time, you do that. You're taught to be compliant, and you are taught to be easy to manage and discipline. So, if you're not, then you get bullied, don't you? Or you get something unpleasant will happen to you. I mean, in my days, you used to get strapped if you was bad. And bad, actually, it was not just being bad. It was doing something you weren't allowed to do, such as rocking back in your chair or something stupid like that. So, or wearing the wrong outfit, the wrong uniform. You have to conform. So basically, what this picture is here, they are taking people such as the man that was doing the Buddhist meditation techniques in the middle of a housing estate. And he's obviously not aware of this system. And they're putting him through this. So now, presumably, if he's on the system which I'm speaking of, his life is ruined. He'll be on heavy medication, all because he did Buddhist meditation techniques in the middle of a housing estate, which is completely harmless. He's going to get bullied for that. He's going to get harassed for that, because it's like when you're at school, if you don't conform, you get bullied and you get harassed. But this is an extreme. This is for the people that are not bothered about being bullied. They're not bothered about being harassed. They're going to do what they want to do. And this program is, I'm not on about the individual program, though that may be true, I don't know. But this picture I've drawn is what they're doing with people like that. So it's not an illness. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these people. They're just very stuck in their ways. They're very willful, which doesn't go with society. So I think my friend was referring to those type of people when he said we can't have idiots running around. So because it offends people to walk past somebody who's sitting down cross-legged in the middle of a housing estate doing Buddhist meditation techniques, they have to ruin that person's life, they have to drug them up for life, and they have to call them crazy. They have to do that because otherwise other people might think, that looks quite enjoyable, or we can do what we want, which I think is what they have to have this really tight measure of control. There are specific paradigms. There are specific ways that you behave and specific ways you don't behave. And they're nothing to do with illness or crime. It's all to do with control. And bringing into it the target individual program, I think because they know the brain is plastic, it has a plasticity, should I say, and it can be remodeled, that's what they are trying to do through the trauma and through the extreme behaviour modification, aversion therapy, through the subliminal silent programming. They are trying to modify the person's behaviour rather than do what I've said in the picture, though I wouldn't put it past them. They are doing this in an environment that they are creating a controlled environment out of the target individual's life, and they know about the brain plasticity, so they are doing this in order to reorganize the pathways and to try and create a new person that is docile and compliant, which basically is what I've drawn in the diagram. That's what they're doing with these people, the people that do the Buddhist meditation techniques in the middle of a council estate. They're doing all that to make them compliant and to give in and to succumb to what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to behave in this society. They're brutalising them into it. And with tagged individuals, they are doing this, and they know that the brain can be remodeled. So why are they not doing that to suppose these people that I've in the drawing, I've given them labels. The first one's got a paranoid label and he's worth £300,000. Example. The yellow one, he's a manic depressive. He's worth £8,000. And he's worth a little bit less, you see, because they tend to let those type of people with that label out. and they just give them lithium, which isn't as expensive as the other stuff. So he's worth a bit less. That is a joke. And the blue one, I've labelled them schizophrenic, and they're worth £10,000. Probably worth more, actually. But these labels have been given, and they're stuck with them for life, and they're given these drugs by Upjohn, Jensen, Wellcome, all these things, and that's it. So in one instance, they're saying that the brain can't be remodelled, and we just have to give them these dangerous drugs to control these things. And in the other instance, they are, with targeted individuals, they are actively trying to remodel the brain through trauma-based mind control. But however you look at it, it is a barbaric system. And these illnesses can, and I do know they are, maybe not in all cases, created by giving somebody a label. For the symptoms that have been electronically induced or induced by deliberate targeting. And I do know that the Freemasons are involved in this higher up, but they're blind to it. I don't think they know that they are, like the police officer said about the person doing those Buddhist meditation. He's been brainwashed, and so he believes he's doing the right thing by taking these people and taking them to these and giving them these nasty drugs. He believes he's doing the right thing because, like he said, that isn't particularly a crime. He can't arrest somebody for doing that. But you've got to ask yourself, what harm is that person doing? Yeah, he could get attacked, he could get bullied. Then there would be a crime. So it's really just about controlling behaviour, isn't it? That's what it's all about. And the targeted individual program is an extreme attempt to rewire a person's brain and to make them into some kind of docile, easy to control, manage, submissive person with no willpower or self-determination. And that's what they are doing. Ultimately, whether the person is sitting in the middle of a counsellor estate doing Buddhist meditation techniques, or whether they are a writer or a singer, or they're doing something that is willful, these are the people that they seem to be targeting. Or they're opening up a new business, or they seem to be targeting people like that in the targeted visual programs. Or people that do their own thing, that don't conform, that are not criminals. In order to, I think, the bigger picture. So the people, the controllers, decide who is going to write a book, whose opinions will come out in songs, whose actions will be allowed to be expressed in order to shape and control the society they want.